Hello everybody, this is HD Shaves here. I'm back with another video. Hope this finds you well and in good spirits. Well, today we have something exciting in that it's actually a new product. Not just new to me, it's not some old razor that's existed for hundreds of years. It's actually something fresh to the market and I'm very excited to share it with you today. So we have Seaforth by Spearhead Shaving Company 3 Scots, and this was very kindly sent to me by Spearhead, so I want to thank them for that. And as we continue to talk to maybe see why they wanted to send me one in particular. First, to start off on kind of the background of the company, of course they are reviving some of these old Seaforth scents and bringing them into a new light, if you will. This one I don't think actually was an old Seaforth scent back in the day. I think this is a brand new one. And there's something, I think it was being developed at the same time as one of their other scents, Black Watch. And they just knew that they wanted to release this scent also, but at the time, you know, when they were releasing Black Watch, they couldn't, something like that. But it's here now, and let's look at the notes together. Amber, mandarin, neroli, jasmine, cardamom, ginger. So if you think about it, it's citrus, florals, spices, amber. So some kind of common scent families, and to me it's interesting how it's all mixed together. I'll show you what the soap looks like. I've just been taking scoops, and it is quite a dark soap. I think that is one of the fragrance components. I asked, and it's definitely not vanilla. It's something else, perhaps kind of a resinous scent note, if you will. So that's why it's got that color. I have it smushed into my Captain's Choice bowl here, and that's the funny thing with these color bowls. Sometimes, depending on the color of the soap, it just blends right in. And this is a strong scent. I've realized that I've been using too much old soap, basically, and there is a difference between an old soap. I mean, yes, it's still going to have its fragrance, and you'd be surprised how long old soaps will last. But a new soap, it's just so bright, and also the texture. This is quite soft to begin with, and I'm used to old soaps that have been dried out, and so it's just kind of a new thing to me, or something that I had forgotten about. How you can get a new soap that smells really strong and the texture is quite malleable. And to me, this scent is kind of difficult to explain. I keep smelling different things in it each time I use it. I would say it is a complex scent, but it's not overbearing or something that you wouldn't want to wear every day. Some scents I think of in my mind as I kind of reserve for special occasions, and it's not something like I would want to wear to work because it's too one way or another. I'll try to explain the scent more as I go. No guarantees, but it's a great scent. And I'm going to put some warm water on the face. We're going to use the Yaqi Rainbow Synthetic. I just can't get enough of this cheap little brush. This is what I like to call a cheap thrill. So hopefully you have some sort of cheap thrill in your life. And I have been using a lot of straight razors, but today I thought it'd be better if we kind of fling around a safety razor. So we'll be using the Merkur 34C HD with a fresh feather blade, which you don't hear about too much on this channel. And I'm just going to go ahead and start loading the soap. And let's talk about the premise behind this soap, which is to say the owner has kind of a significant background with music. When he was growing up, he thought that music was one of the best things, and now that he's had more time to reflect, he realized just how important it is. And as I'm sure you all have heard over the past 5, 10, 15 years, music education is slowly becoming something that is more and more difficult to obtain in certain, particularly public school systems. So maybe now you can realize why this soap was sent to me, out of all people. For those of you who are new to the channel, maybe don't know, I'm a musician full-time. I teach, I compose, I play gigs, but I do dedicate many hours per week to teaching. Anyway, so the great thing about this 3 Scots scent is that all of the profits go toward supporting Spearhead's local music education fund, I guess. So sometimes what can happen with music education, which it sounds like this is what it is like, say a band is free, or not free, but it's included in your public school fees, that if you're a student and you want to enroll in band, of course that's your right to do. However, there are all of these travel things that you have to do for music. Like you have to go play at some other school. I guess it's kind of like basketball, like sports. You could think about it like that. But then on top of that, you are sometimes expected to take private lessons on your instrument, which is 95% of the time not part of your free school education. And so people have to pay to kind of get the other half of the band education, if you will. And so sometimes people can't afford that. And I mean, how terrible would it feel if you were that student in the band whose family couldn't afford to have you sign up for lessons or pay for an instrument rental for a semester or something? That would just not be a great feeling. And so, of course, I'm biased, and I, of course, think that all this stuff should be a student's right to education or something. I mean, some sort of arts. I'm a classic example of I'm horrible at visual art. Just always been just miserable. And so, of course, I'm sure there's some artists out there who would say that students need access to visual art, which I understand. But for me, I had music. So if it's not going to be art for you, that it's music or something like that. So we just need the arts in education. And at this point in time, at least in the U.S., it seems like people have to be bold and be willing to step up and raise funds, basically, to make sure that everyone has access to this. It's not my ideal musical world, of course, but it's the world we're in, and that's what's going on. If you don't live in the U.S., I would love to hear what your public school system does for music education specifically, because that's just how it works here. It doesn't mean that's how it works everywhere. This Highland soap base is awesome. It's a tallow base. I should have read you those ingredients, but it's the same base they've been using for a while. It's fantastic. I'm going to keep lathering and bring you back in to start my first pass with the 34C. Stay tuned. Okay, we're back, and this lather is ridiculous. It has to be the best lather I remember getting for, I don't know, months. Again, there's nothing wrong with those older soaps that are perhaps a little outdated by modern soap-based formulas, but I just feel a little silly not using this sooner. Speaking of that soap base, maybe you can pause the video if you'd like to read more about the Highland soap base. It's one that I'm definitely looking forward to using more. Okay, we're going to warm up the 34C, and here we go for the first pass. So as the scent has opened up a little bit, to me there's a nice sweetness from the, well, it's more like the sweetness is sort of from the resin part of the amber, which sometimes can have like a vanilla quality to it. So I smell that sort of on top of everything. And then there's like a tartness to the citrus, the mandarin neroli. I forget exactly how those differ in perfuming compared to just straight orange, but I'm sure someone out there knows and perhaps can write it for us in the comments. But yeah, the tartness of the citrus is nice, so that it's not overly sweet from the amber. And then there is more of like a, I don't want to call it animalic, but we'll go first pass here. Wonder why I did that. I don't know. There is this, maybe darkness is the way to put it, on the bottom of the scent, kind of from the, well, I wouldn't call it darkness. There's just some balance also from the jasmine. Which is to say, jasmine usually smells much differently to people than like, well, lavender or something. Also, I forgot about the spices, the cardamom and the ginger. I think that's kind of mixing with the amber, kind of like with the sweetness. So that's why I say it's a complex scent. It's not too much of one thing or another, but yeah, it's terrific. Okay, first pass done. I'm going to rinse. We'll come back for pass two. Probably talk a little bit more about music. All right. Pass number 2 with 3 Scots. Again, this lather is just outstanding. It's hard to go wrong with the synthetic brush and this Highland base. I'm very, very impressed. Let's do the second pass going across now. The Spearhead enthusiasts are going to ask me to compare this to Black Watch. And it's been so long since I used that scent, I can't compare anything specific to Black Watch, but I'll just say that I remember liking Black Watch, but this is even better from what I remember of Black Watch. So if you were on the fence or maybe didn't love Black Watch, this might be worth giving it a try. Really like how the feather blade sits in this particular razor. Not that you have to use a feather all the time. I think that's one of the most over-represented things in shaving YouTube. I've been thinking about this more lately. I remember seeing some of my first YouTube videos when I was first getting into this, and it was Geo Fat Boy talking about how he uses a feather and everything. And also, who else does that? Sinatra Lennon also loves a feather. And again, I'm not trying to step on anybody's toes, but I just think it's over-represented. To me, back in the day, the one that was overrepresented but probably suits more people was Astra Green. That was always the blade that was recommended to people for starting off. Okay, second pass done. We'll do one more quick third pass. Stay tuned. Third pass with 3 Scots. Third pass against the grain. We'll still go lightly. It's funny, if you have such a mild razor like this and you have a really slick lather and you get the angle just right, it can really feel like the razor head and the blade are just gliding over your skin. Some people I know really don't like that. They want to feel the blade and all working, but that's a nice reminder that that's possible. Again, you all might remember a video recently where I said I've gotten more used to aggressive razors, and nice to use a mild one every now and then. So I don't think this soap is for sale. I think it was like a one-drop thing and it sold out, which I didn't quite realize going into this, but I'm sure if you knock on their door enough, if you knock on Spearhead's door enough, they'll make another batch because, like I was saying, we always need more support for music education here. And again, turns out it's difficult to do this and talk at the same time. Some people have been very complimentary of me, saying, wow, I can't believe you do all this and talk at the same time. Well, it's catching up to me now. I mentioned to Dennis of Spearhead that I would love to donate my time in some way, if I could, for his specific school district. I'm not quite sure how that would happen, but if anyone has any creative ideas for how I could do some volunteer teaching or accompanying or something, I'm all ears, because as much as musicians like to complain about not about gigs and how much they pay, it's also important to give back every now and then. When you're working with the kind of people that I work with, or for, I should say, on a lot of these projects, it seems like money is no object, and so it isn't always that way for everybody, right? Okay, I'm going to do my final rinse, and we'll wrap up quickly over post-shave. Stay tuned. Okay, we're back, and I've waited till the end to mention this because I didn't want to take away from Spearhead and everything, but immediately when I smelled that soap, the thing that it reminded me of was Barrister, Mann, Ravish. Now, it changed as I've used 3 Scots more, and Ravish is noticeably more sweet, and that's by design. It was released for Valentine's Day, I think, maybe 4 years ago. And anyway, they're a nice pairing. So if you have Ravish from back in the day, I recommend you give that a try. So we're just going to apply a little bit of the aftershave here. Trying to reassess. Because I know there's citrus in this also. Definitely a lot of vanilla, which some people didn't like. It was too kind of sweet for them. Well, I can only smell the alcohol at this point, so that's not going to be very helpful. I'm going to let this dry down, and later I'll apply some unscented balm or something. Great, let's do a final recap. We used the Merkur 34C HD. Took down 3 days of growth, no problem. For me, I don't need an aggressive razor to do that. Perhaps you do. power to you, but give that a try too. Try using a mild razor to take down, several days growth and see how it treats you. We use my cheap thrill Yaqi Rainbow Synthetic, and the star of the show, of course, the Spearhead C4 3 Scots. Beautiful side labels. I didn't notice this before. The Sea Spice Lime has the same labels as that, but I guess I didn't notice. Really well done. So again, who knows when that scent will be back for sale again, but it seems like Dennis is open to making more. So if enough people ask, maybe it can happen sooner rather than later. So thank you all if you made it this far. A little bit longer video. Turns out when you have to talk about something that's a little nearer and dearer to your heart, that things can rattle on. So thank you if you made it this far. For now, this has been HD Shaves. Take care. We'll see you again next time. Goodbye.